Story of an accounting hack on Australia TPB supervised training. Video 1, Preface. My name is Preston Chow. I have been a registered tax agent in Australia since 1980, some 44 years ago. I have been providing supervised training for Australian BAS and tax agent registration purpose for around 6 years to over 10 trainees. I am establishing a series of videos to be posted on social media, including the YouTube channel. At this point I have the intention of sharing my experience about TPB supervised training with a minimum of 20 videos. With luck, I am hoping to increase the number when I have the chance to identify additional relevant topics. As in the case of so many ambitions conceived at the beginning of many projects, my goal to produce 20 or more videos on TPB supervised training is a tall order. However, I have every intention at this stage to fulfill this little dream of mine within 2024. To introduce an element of interest and to avoid presenting the subject matters monotonously, I plan to approach the subject in sharing my experience by way of telling a series of stories, as most people like to listen to stories. I shall start my stories from the beginning, when I first landed on Australia as a migrant from Hong Kong over 40 years ago. On September 6, 1978, I arrived in Melbourne from the Republic of Nauru, a small island in the Central Pacific, with my wife and 2 young children. In those days, the Tax Agents Board accepted the registration from holders of professional qualification of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators from the UK, a qualification I acquired before arrival. Unlike nowadays, no practical experience was required. Consequently, I applied for registration, and I successfully became a registered tax agent in 1980, 44 years ago. I had no experience in preparing tax returns, and to utilize my tax agent license, I enrolled myself with an organization, similar to that of nowadays H&R Block, for a 1-week training. Following completion of the training course, I teamed up with 2 experienced bookkeepers, a middle-aged local Australian and an elderly migrant from the UK. Despite being a fresh tax agent in Australia, I lodged over 200 income tax returns for clients, prepared by the 3 of us in the first year of my registration. This was how I commenced my journey as a registered tax agent in Australia. Apart from a short period of around 3 months when my registration renewal was being decided due to my overseas travels, I have always been registered. Looking back, 44 years is a long time, but funny enough, I can still remember vividly that we were taking 2 taxis, carrying all our personal belongings when we landed Australia, from Tullamarine Airport to Victoria Hotel in Melbourne, where I stayed with my young family for 1 week before renting a unit in Glen Huntly, where we spent the first few years as new migrants. In the next episode, I shall tell my story on how I settled in my first accounting job in Melbourne. Viewers are invited to subscribe and to visit our website at easytax.com, where you will find all published and unpublished episodes in this series.